What about that now? Can you hear me now? I know it's not going to be the best because it's using the microphone on the phone, but can you hear me now? Let me know in the comments. This thing keeps saying something. I have to restart the computer. It's wigging out on the microphone, but I was going live, so I figured I'd restart it afterwards. Can you hear me now? I hear you guys. I know there's a delay, so I'm looking to see. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So I know it's not perfect, but Candido, thanks again for your time yesterday, my friend. I appreciate you. All right, everybody. Well, good morning, Tom. Good morning, Ron Siegel. Yeah, the Verizon commercials. We're dating ourselves, man. It's funny. Who would have thought that that's the thing? So, anyway, let's go ahead and we'll keep saying hi to the live folks. Venkat, good morning. Amy, great to have all of you here again. I'm using the iPhone audio because it's not liking my microphone today. It keeps saying it restarted and it's having a glitch. So I'll restart my computer. But in the meantime, good morning, James Mahan. Great to have you here as well. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and let's get started. We'll talk about what's going on this morning and get you guys out of here. So let's see. Sharing the screen this morning. Right here, I'm going to give you the market update from MBS Live about the PPI, Producer Price Index. Came in minus 0.1 versus 0.3 forecast. The yearly core was 3.4 versus 3.5. That's the important one. Jobless claims this morning, 220,000 versus 225,000. What you see going on here, we didn't have any great reaction to it. If we do a quick recap of what happened yesterday, you could see that mortgage-backed securities were flat after the initial moves when we got that CPI inflation data. If we go ahead, I'm gonna put this next to me so you're forced to look at my ugly mug here. Let me get rid of this here. There we go. Come on. How come I feel like it's Friday? Probably because I'm going to Blake Shelton concert today, and then I'll be in Greenville tomorrow. So let me refresh this and so I can slide. All right. So taking a look here with what happened yesterday, you can see mortgage-backed securities were flat on the day, just absolutely flat. This morning, down a hair. Look at the shape of this trend. Remember, we saw mortgage-backed securities move up all the way through February. Look at the trend line here and all these green candlesticks. And then last week, it kind of plateaued and started to stagnate. And then now we started to lose ground. Because of that, I'm going to keep my lock advice the same that I had it yesterday. I would lock anything closing that's closing the next couple of weeks. The only chance that we really have to see this turn around, it's going to depend on the Fed. And I don't think we're going to see a strong reaction next week, but that's totally guessing. It's total guesswork when it comes to what's going to happen. It's not the Fed meeting and per se that's really important here, but it's how markets react to it, how markets react to Powell's press conference. That's the only chance that we have now. Loans that have more time, that are 15 to 30 days out, you're looking at two things to happen. So if we get some help from the Fed meeting, that would be great. The other thing that's going to happen is we're going to get BLS jobs data at the beginning of April. But that's about 3 weeks out now. So that's, and if that data does not show the weakness expected, remember the last jobs report, it came in, a slightly worse, but not really all that big of a deal. And the justification was that it was the timing of all the Fed cuts and everything. When you take a look at some of the Fed job cuts, here's what you're looking at here. Federal worker layoffs climb towards 250,000 as deadline looms. Now, I don't know why we're not seeing that show up in jobless claims, right? Why are they not on unemployment? Could be part of the agreement, could be part of the severance, but you would think that they would be on unemployment, but not yet. The Trump administration's push to drastically shrink the federal government shifts to new gear Thursday when agencies face a deadline to submit plans for large-scale layoffs and budget cuts. So maybe that's where a lot of it will take effect, but we're really not seeing it. The prospective plans also bring more clearly into focus how the downsizing can impact government services, reshape everything from the broader economy to local communities. So we'll see where that goes. But as far as mortgage-backed securities this morning, they're down 6 basis points on the day. That's not huge, but it's enough that you're going to see rate sheets continue to creep a little bit lower. Looking at Mortgage News Daily, we've been seeing that, right? We got our best rates at 6.7 right here at the March 4th mark. Then we were at 6.72 a couple of times, 6.79, 6.82, just starting to creep higher. Not moving up yet into where we were in the middle of February, but it's not improving anymore. And you can see that here again in the shape of this trend. We had a big rally, which helped mortgage-backed securities improve, and now they're flowing down. The question is, how much farther down will they go before we get a bit of a rebound? There is still lots of, concern about the volatility with the markets and things like that. Ron said, holding line, 25-day moving average. Ron, I don't put a lot of stock in the 25-day moving average for technical support. It tends to get broken very often. Like you can see here, it kind of blows through it. I mean, it did hold here, but, here we broke right through it. So I don't think that's going to be a big one. The 25-day moving average is at 101.16. Right now we're at 101.28 for reference. So that's about 12, 15 basis points lower. But I do agree the 200-day moving average at 101.07 would be a stronger technical support. So if we lose 20 basis points, that means rate sheets are going to get worse. 20 basis points is enough to see an eighth in rate go up. So that's kind of where we're at. Take a look at this 10-year treasury yield. Again, this is the harbinger of what's to come. We were down here as low as 4.15 for just a moment, 4.24. Spent a lot of time in that 4.20s. We've pushed back up into the 430s. You've got technical support here. Remember, the yield is the opposite of the pricing. So here we want things to go up. On the yield side, we want it to go down. So you've got support, 25-day moving average. I'd give that a little more credibility for the 10-year. It does tend to hold it a little bit more at 4.38. And then the 100-day moving average at 4.42. And that's really where you've got some support levels. And if we see it move up to 4.42, you're going to see mortgage-backed securities drop all the way down to that 200 basis point or to 200-day moving average and possibly lower. So looking at the technicals, I don't really see any expectation that we're going to see a rebound there. Looking at the headlines and what's going up, I mean, you got more tariff talk, Trump vowing 200% tariffs on wine. What do you think about that, Siegel? I know you drink a lot of wine, right? Is that good for California? I don't know. Traders already betting Russia bonds are coming back because of what's going on with the possibility of a ceasefire in the Ukraine region and all of that stuff. All of this playing a small role in what's going on altogether. So next week, we've got the Fed meeting. We'll see where that goes. Right now, expectations of a Fed cut are zero. It's very, very, very unlikely the Fed would make any moves in March. Powell has come out and said that the Fed doesn't need to make any moves. So it's a 0% chance, really. So, but in May, there's some expectation a little bit. But by June, we actually see that go over 50% probability. By the end of the year, market's still pricing in expectations of 3 rate cuts. This would be where we're at now. This would be 1 cut. This would be 2 cuts. This would be 3 cuts. So that's what they're pricing in right now. You're right. No tariff on U.S. products. Good morning, Alicia. Good morning, Charlie. So looking at, what we got going on here, this is really what could help mortgage rates is if we see consumer spending drop. Consumer angst is striking all income levels. Signs of weaknesses are showing up in spending on everything from basics to luxuries. Again, we've talked about this being the credit bubble, right? If we see a pullback in spending because people are just maxed out on credit or fatigued, they're, seeing all this, that's going to slow down the economy. And that is what would actually push rates lower if we see a slowdown in the economy. You have to see a weakness in labor market, slowdown in the economy. We would see mortgage rates that would get a little bit lower. But right now, expectations not there. We just don't see it. So not really all that great for this. So we've had a really nice run, but you definitely want to be locking some loans, maybe even loans closing in the next 30 days. Because we may continue to see rates creep higher. We've lost a little bit of ground on rate sheets. It's maybe an eighth. It's showing according to here. Let's look at what shows locked on Optimal Blue and see if that shows. At the lowest was 6.54, and now we're at 6.62. So that's an eighth. So we've seen rates creep up an eighth since March 3rd. So the last 10 days or so, and Could they creep up higher? Yeah, they could. They could definitely creep up higher. And we could end up in the high sixes for conventional conforming. Of course, like if you look at FHA and VA, those are averaging lower. According to Optimal Blue here, it's showing in the sixes, but I think that it's more accurate to I guess there are some that are getting into the fives, but they're still in the sixes. It's what it's showing, the what you're seeing a lot of locks with no points at least. So there you go, my friends. That's what we got going on, and that's what we should be expecting to continue. Bit of a downward trend here. This is a good opportunity to get some people to make some decisions and lock. So show them this video, show them this screenshot, explain to them that as this moves lower, this direction is bad. We're not locking in at the bottom either, because I think it's going to continue to worsen from here. But we'll have to see where things go altogether. Tomorrow, we're going to get consumer sentiment data. If that does show some weakness, we could get a little bit of a bump, but it would be short-lived. Lenders are going to be quicker to reprice these days now that we're starting to see that trend reverse. They're watching the same thing we are. And also, Friday tends to be more conservative when it comes to pricing. So keep that in mind as well. So, all right. Well, everybody, I hope y'all are doing well. What was the day today, Siegel? I don't know if I missed that one. You'll have to tell me what we saw today. So also, again, I know my audio is a little bit different today. I got to restart my computer. The microphone is not picking up properly. Today is National Coconut Tort Day. National Coconut Tort Day. I don't even know what a tort is. I know what a retort is. Not a retard, a retort. Retort is when you answer back. So my hat's off. There we go. Tomorrow I'm going to come to you from Greenville, by the way. Going to see Blake Shelton tonight. Any Blake Shelton fans in the house? Let me know in the comments if you're a Blake Shelton fan. Going to see Blake and Trace Adkins and Dina something. He's got a couple of people. It's his Friends and Heroes Tour 2025. So going to Greenville, that's the closest big arena where they do this stuff. So it's about an hour and 45 minutes. And we'll spend the night there. And tomorrow I'll come to you from the hotel and we'll get all that stuff. And then I'm going to spend the weekend there with my wife. So think pie. I love pie. Wendy, good morning and thank you for your thanks. So, all right, my friends, I'm going to wrap it up, y'all. Remember, let's go through some of the other stuff here. You can sign up for our free daily lock advice at www.ratelockadvice.com. Sign up for our text alerts at ratetextalerts.com. You can be reminded that I'm going live at hmmr.io/reminder. And you can learn more about originator success at hmmr.io/os-overview. And you could learn more about originator success and how we help you get loans from Google and social media. So, Dave Zelinki, who's that? You're not a Blake Shelton fan? Oh, dude. I thought so highly of you. Coco Tortes, only in California. Oh, that's funny. So, all right, my friends, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic